StreamYard. Hey folks, welcome to another Ask Us Anything call. This is kind of nice because here we are, it's January 8th, so let's just set the time right. We'll get some night driving background music in the background. You're listening to smooth night driving jazz. I don't know how the rest of you feel, but I'm really glad that we're back. I'm glad that the new year started and that things are kind of settled back into a pace. My name is Kurt. I'm here with Magic Emily. We will be here for the next hour or so. We're here to talk about, LifterLMS, working with WordPress in general, integrations, but really this is a chance for us to kind of explore who the users are in the LifterLMS space and who's interested in making e-learning or becoming a course creator. Now, Gary's already in the know. Gary knows what to do. So Gary says, good morning from Winnipeg. When you get a chance, folks, jump on in. Let us know who you are, where you're from, all those fun things. As we start to get into some other things here, I'm going to invite you that if you're not already a user at LifterLMS and you want to be a user on a paid version, you can get a 55% off coupon by going to lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. That gets you 55% off. And I just want to say on a paid version, right? Because LifterLMS, the free version of LifterLMS and the WordPress repository is amazing by itself. Like if you just want to make the courses, have students, authorize memberships, have a manual payment gateway, if you need to collect money on some other channel, that is completely sustainable. It's a great way to start and get yourself launched and go. It's the add-ons with LifterLMS that help us with marketing, with selling, with community, with being able to do gifts, which is a new thing that we've added in the last month. Continuing education. I mean, there's just a ton of things that you can do with LifterLMS. But if you are an entry-level course creator and you're like, I just wanted to simply get a course up, you can dive into LifterLMS for free, start building your course, and like you'll hear me say often, done is better than perfect. It's always great to just get started. If we look here, Gary says it's a balmy -6 degrees Celsius. Before Americans freak out, that doesn't mean it's negative temperatures. Because, Americans, we tend to do math like with positives and negatives, and then we get all freaked out about temperature for some reason. Their zero is 32 degrees for us, right? And so their 6 degrees negative doesn't mean it's like -18 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not how math works. So in any case, Gary, that's probably pretty warm actually up there in Canada. We had 59 degrees yesterday for us here in Kansas. And so it's been unseasonably warm for us this year. I did a brisket yesterday on the grill, which nobody seems to care about. You can follow me on TikTok if you want to see me cook things. I did a 12-pound brisket yesterday, and at 12 pounds, it took just a little over 9 hours. But like I said, it got to be 62 degrees in the afternoon, and it was just so nice to go out and get that vitamin D injection, man. Just go outside, stand in the sun, cook. That's my sweet spot. I just love it. Looks like one of our normal listeners and viewers, Dell, is moving. So Gary offered that up. So anyone that wants to stalk Dell, head on out to Duncan, British Columbia, and maybe you can find Dell there. Colleen, all the way from Australia. That's a long way to go. We've got a couple of people from Australia that come to our office hours. And so that's cool that you're here. She says that it is 5 a.m. there, and they're expecting 42 degrees Celsius today. 42 degrees, because you got to remember, it's the other side of the planet. Again, people, we're going to give you a full education here at LifterLMS. We're not just going to cover the surface. Flip the world over. It's summer down there, right? And so yeah, that's hot. 42 degrees is hot. to give you an idea of that kind of heat, like thinking about how math works for Celsius and Fahrenheit. Like when I would work on motorcycles, 60 degrees Celsius is when things start to come online with your fuel injection and stuff like that. 80 degrees Celsius was something to be 100 degrees. Like, so all of these numbers seem weird to us Americans, but 42 degrees Celsius, that's hot. That's a hot day. All right. Donna says she's in Vermont. Well, 38 degrees and 6 inches of snow. You are dangerously close, Donna, to the founder of LifterLMS. He's up in the northeast part of the country as well. And so 38 degrees, I'm going to be honest with you, Donna. Is that really warm for where you're at this time of year? That seems like that would be warm for you this time of year. Like we're used to 30, 34, 35 degrees this time of year normally, but for some reason, we've got rain and 50 degrees. So it's pretty weird. Global warming. All right. Emily, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I've just woken up, gotten on the stream here. I had a dream about a t-shirt, and so I'm going to design it in Printful. What we're going to go for is an oversized yellow, like 3XL tee. It's similar to the lifter one I have, but we're going to put together like a little Superman thing for this. So
a Superman thing?
Yeah, like a little Superman thing. Like there's a classic photo of him flying, and I'm figuring out what comic it's from. It's called Desperate Enterprises, and we're gonna compile some assets and build a really cool t-shirt.
Well, there you go.
That's what I'm up to.
There you go.
Yeah, I see your background's different. Did you change it up?
I have been a busy little beaver over the holiday. So the shelf behind me, that's going away. So I ordered some floating shelves, and the floating shelves are going to go on this wall right here, like boop, boop, beep, right? And a couple of things are going to go on those floating shelves, and then there's not going to be any bookshelf behind me. The color, my wife was scared to death. So I went to Home Depot, and I was like, yeah, I need to get this dark color. I want to get a dark color for the office. And she's like, oh, well, how dark? Because it was like powder blue before, if you remember. Like I was totally washed out in there. And she's like, well, how dark? And I started pulling like swatches. When you go to Home Depot, you can get these colors, right?
Yeah.
And so I would pull a couple of swatches, and I'm part colorblind. So for folks that are watching right now, I have no right to be like putting my foot down and saying anything about colors, because I don't really see color the way everyone else does. I'm not like, I know what's dark, what's light, what's blue, what's purple. Like I can tell, but it's my shades aren't the same. Like I don't see things the same shade that you do. So I was picking out these like really dark, almost black browns with a hint of like gray in them. And she was like, absolutely not. You're not putting that in our house. And then she was picking out like these weird tans and coffee browns and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not looking for a coffee brown color. I want it to be dark. I want the room to absorb the noise that I normally see in my space. Like that's hard to explain to some people, right? Especially for online stuff. And so I got to tell you, she went back to work, and I snuck out to Home Depot and bought the paint, and I just started painting. And then when she came home and she walked in the room, I thought, well, that's it, I'm dead. But turned out the opposite. She goes, oh my God, I love it. And I painted over the wallpaper on purpose. The wallpaper has this like really cool texture, and whoever lived here before painted over the wallpaper. And so I was like, well, they've already painted over it once. Like, screw it, I'm gonna do it again. I like the texture and the color in person. Like when there's ambient light in here with the blinds up and everything, it almost looks like the wall's covered in leather. It's like really funky, but I love it. And then the pictures are from Italy. So when I took my wife to Italy, she took these pictures. And so the ones on the side are they're actual photos put on canvas. And then this picture is a picture she took in Bologna, but it is converted. Like I had it commissioned and actually painted on canvas by an artist in California.
Nice.
Yeah. So I got to tell you, it has completely changed like my mental well-being in my space in here. Like I don't have a bunch of like glaring lights on me. I'm not getting headaches from having spotlights shining everywhere, because the room was so light before. I had to like overly light it to make things show up. You know what I mean? Like everything it was like I was constantly in spotlights. I was like, this is ridiculous. The ring light that's over my head, I had to turn it down because, and I had to change the color of it. If I go back to the thing and then I put it back up on like full bright, this is the way I had to have it in the room before when it was a light blue color. And that was always in my face. And so now I can, dial the heat down on it, and I can change the color. Oh, not that one. This one. Yeah, just make it a little warmer, a little nicer. Easier on my eyes.
Nice.
I'm already losing my eyesight. I'm old. I keep telling you, I'm old. I can't be messing around like this. So this is totally calm now. And we put a rug down. And the rug is absorbing because it was a hardwood floor, and it kind of like echoed and pinged a little bit. But now with the carpet, it seems to absorb that weird noise. So I think I'm getting better sound and better lighting now.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's a pain in the butt, just for anyone that's watching or listening. Stripping out a room and painting it and doing all that. I mean, I did it all on a Friday, so it was a pain in the rear. And then I had to rearrange the layout of the office, because then the perspectives were all different. So I had to change like where the desk was and stuff like that. So let's get back to brass tacks here. I put the banner up earlier, but let's go back to it. You want to put your questions into the chat, and that gives Emily and I a chance to actually answer your questions. And that's why we're here. We're here to serve you, not necessarily brag about ourselves in our new office space, even though it is fun. Let's see. We got Donna from Vermont. Colleen says 107.6 is what 42 Celsius converts to. Colleen, thank you for that. Now, here's a little known thing that you would not have guessed in a million years about me. I ride bicycles a lot. And most people, especially big people like me, struggle in the heat. But it turns out that all of my PRs, all my personal records, came on hot days. Like my best performing bicycle ride was like at 104 degrees in Southern California, middle of the summer. So apparently, as much as I don't like to be hot and sweaty, my body performs very well when it's hot and sweaty. So that space, Colleen, where you're at, would be probably where I would be really happy to be. Oh, it was 10 degrees the other day. Yeah, that's what I thought. You're up there in the Northeast, and I thought for sure when you said 38 degrees, I think it was 38 degrees. I said, man, that's kind of hot for up there. So yeah, 10 seems more normal to me. Let's see. We got here. I was reading a post about website accessibility and ADA compliance. Is there a plugin that you recommend? Ways to work within Lifter to make it all accessible. Whew, that's a whole topic, Donna. That's a whole topic. Listen, some people will advertise that they can help you with accessibility, and some people will advertise that you could just add this plugin and boom, your site's going to be accessible. And I'm here to tell you that those are lies. Accessibility is never done. And to me, when I'm working with my clients, accessibility is part of every proposal, and it's baked into our builds. Like basic accessibility. Do we have alt tags for our pictures? Are we using proper contrast for backgrounds and images and backgrounds and text? That's like basic stuff right there. So I want to make sure that we at least mention that. Where did you go? You coming, you're leaving, you're coming, you're leaving. What are you doing, Emily? Yeah. You're like, I wanted to have the soft background.
Right. I wanted to use my iPhone camera, and I was struggling to figure out why Google Chrome doesn't support it anymore. Google Chrome is off and on whether it supports the iPhone camera thing.
Well, I think the iPhone camera is pretty cool because it automatically comes in and out and moves around and stuff. And so the accessibility question is a really hard question to pinpoint. Now, that said, are there accessibility plugins that we could recommend? And when I say recommend, I want to be super clear on this episode. When we say recommend, it's like it's a great tool to get you where you want to start going, but it doesn't automatically just do everything. That's the part that I want to really hit home on. It's a tool for you to do stuff, and it'll give you some really good feedback, and that'll work that way. Is it, Emily? Is it Accessify? Is that the one I'm thinking of, or Accessiby?
Accessiby is one I've heard of.
Accessiby, is that? I want to make sure it's the one I'm thinking of. Accessibility, company, partners. Who are our partners? Agency, platform, nonprofit solutions, company, about us.
If you truly want to be ADA compliant at this point, you have to hire a company to specifically verify it. But there are compliance plugins you can do to bring your website into compliance. ADA compliance is like really, really becoming. I mean, you could say a little bit annoying for business owners on the web, but it's a good thing to have. The fact that your website's accessible is really positive. So you're going to have to jump through like a few more hurdles as a business owner to make sure you're ADA compliant, and it's becoming more required. But it's really useful. Even for like SEO now, the bots on Google can test. Like I had a client yesterday who was like, we're going to add accessibility to the website with this plugin. And I'm like, but bro, if your pages don't have an H1, H2, H3, like the basic heading tree structure, you are like out of compliance from page readers. And I don't know, it's a good thing to do, and it does increase your marketing value if you're relying on internet searches for marketing.
I'm trying to find, I want to make sure I give the right name. You know, the Hineses, right?
Yeah.
Which plugin was theirs? I can't remember.
I don't know. It's Amber Hines.
Amber Hines and Chris Hines, right? Isn't that his name?
I think so.
Yeah, their product is. Where is? I think this is it. Nope, that ain't him. Oh, that's the hard part. I think theirs is called Accessibility. I think they're the Accessibility people. And they are like masters in the space. There is also a woman who's very, very active in the space. And I think I should probably put her name in as a comment. Bet Hannon. Bet Hannon is very active as a source to get the service done. She's very big on accessibility. In fact, if she is on a Zoom call and I sign into that Zoom call, dang near guarantee that call is going to be about accessibility. She is passionate beyond passion. So look up Bet Hannon or look up Amber Hines, and those are both two really good resources for accessibility. Well, this is worth a screen share right here, Emily, if you want to get ready to do one. Question about LifterLMS: can you remove a user from a course? Colleen, this is where we give complete answers, or we try to give complete answers here when we do this call. So we'll do a screen share and we'll show you how to remove a user from a course. We can totally do that, not a problem. But I think we should also give the full answer. Like, how do we add users to courses? That comes up too. So can I add a user? Can I remove a user? And then there is a feature for bulk addition of users to a course. So we could probably cover all three of those in the screen share, especially since we're not really burdened with a bunch of questions right now. But yeah, you can absolutely remove a user from a course. You can manually do that.
Yeah, so you can remove users in a couple ways, right? You can remove them directly from the course. So in my case on this, you get access to the course via a membership. And so with that membership, you get access to all the courses. And so what we're going to want to do is while we can still cancel the enrollment on an individual course, we can also cancel the enrollment in my membership. And LifterLMS courses and memberships use enrollment in the same way. It's just that memberships allow you to do packages of courses. So in my case, I'm going to want to remove the student order, for example. I think all mine are canceled anyway. But if you click into the order that student had, you can see over here on the right-hand side, student enrollment. Yours is going to say enrolled, and it's probably going to say like active. And so what you can do if you want to kick a student out of a course is set their status to be expired, and then you could probably set their order status to be something like canceled. So canceled and expired, and or canceled and canceled. That will make sure they get kicked out of the course if they placed an order ticket in the course. If you placed them into the course as an admin, what we would do is click a little X icon that we saw down here. So the reason for enrollment or the enrollment trigger would say the admin enrolled them, and then you could click the little X icon, and then you could delete their enrollment if you want. Completely clear their data off the site. LifterLMS also has a data removal feature. So when we go to Tools, Erase Personal Data, LifterLMS integrates with the Erase Personal Data feature. So if you were to add someone's email, it sends them a confirmation and says, hey, my website's trying to delete your user and all your data. Does that sound good to you? They click confirm, and then all their data is deleted. So that's the data erasure request. That's an ADA privacy policy, GDPR kind of thing. So make sure you have that as an option. And yeah, so you can remove them manually as an admin. You can erase their personal data, and you can delete users in bulk if you wanted to. So under the users panel, we can make bulk changes. I could find a bunch of people on my user list and decide to make a change to all of these users. I can click delete, and I can delete the WordPress user themselves. Completely deleting the WordPress user will reset their progress and all that kind of stuff. So a few different ways to do it. The data erasure makes sure that like anything on the website that they participated with no longer shows their email, their orders are redacted, it's all gone. Deleting the user doesn't quite purge all the data off the website, but it resets their progress and everything because their user's gone and it can be recreated. Or you could just kick them out of a course and they will still have all their progress. They just won't be enrolled anymore. They'll have to re-enroll. You are muted. It said I'm muted.
Yeah, I was testing my microphone. I heard you, so I tested mine and it's working. So I was freaked out. I don't know what Gary's talking about. Yes, Colleen was muted. So there's that. There is that. One thing that I want to stress to people as you were talking, especially people that watch the replay, that whole like erase people's data thing, some people are quick to do that. I don't do that unless the student asks you to. Here's why. A lot of people, maybe they earn a certificate on your site for something. Maybe you're doing continuing education or something. And then they're like, well, now that I'm done, go ahead and take me out of the site. And then 6 months later, they always come back to you for some kind of weird reason. It's always the ones that shouldn't, right? And they go, oh, I just need a copy of my certificate. And you're like, we erased all your crap. So don't just erase people willy-nilly because you want to keep your data clean. That shouldn't be an issue for performance or anything like that going forward. Like if you have someone in your data and they've paid you and you've provided a service, you probably want to keep their data for as long as possible unless they specifically ask to be deleted. Is that fair? That's a fair thing to say, right?
Yeah. And I talked to some clients about data removal after a couple of years. So I have a lot of clients who certify a single year or 2 years. They're like, okay, you take our course, you're certified for a year. They are required by law to keep the data for 5 years, but then now they've been running a business for a long time and they have tons of users. And so we've been like, hey, if you're not an active contact in our system after 5 years, we're going to remove you. And that works. So that can be good at scale. These clients have hundreds of thousands of customers, and so it's really a problem for them. But unless you're dealing with super scaling issues like that, there's not really a reason to delete people.
I was doing a quick search in another screen. Hang on a second. Okay, so Amber Hines is part of Equalize Digital, which I remember that from the podcast where I interviewed her husband. So Equalize Digital is the name of the company, and they maintain the accessibility checker plugin.
Okay.
So accessibility checker plugin. I will take a copy of that and get the link. I know. Emily's faster than me at this stuff. That's accessibility. It's the accessibility checker. Accessibility checker. All right. I don't know that that's the same one. Anyway, that's what I looked up. I looked that up on Grok. Accessibility to me is such a, on one hand, it seems like such a no-brainer, Emily. It really does. It's like, how do we make our websites easier for people to access or use? But then there's so many things. So here's one that came up, again, regarding accessibility. Do you know James Welbus?
No.
James Welbus is a pretty vocal developer designer in the space. He's pretty active on X. And he started using LifterLMS on a corporate project. And he said, we're seeing things come up in our lesson names that we don't expect. So this wouldn't be a normal application of Lifter. They've done some kind of customization, right? And so, we're seeing these things in our lessons that we're not, in our titles we're not expecting. So it was like lesson 1, blah, 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 the title, the this, the that. It was all written out. That is, that's built into Lifter, right? That's if someone has, let's say someone's blind and they've got a code reader that's attached to their website. That's what the browser would be reading to a blind person, right? It would be like saying, lesson 1, blah, 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 right? So it would be reading to the student. They were blind. And so it's kind of cool to know that there's those things built into the platform. So with, like, when you say, well, is Lifter accessible? Is this like, there's a lot that's built into Lifter that deals with accessibility that a person who isn't special needs probably isn't even going to recognize building the platform. Like, there's things the program will do that you're probably not even aware of. But if you're going to be a professional in the space and you're going to offer services to others, it is good to know about those things.
Yeah, and I often find myself telling clients, frustratingly, that it's like that there's simple things they can do to meet accessibility requirements, and then there's more like nuanced ones, and they're more focused on the nuanced ones than the simple ones. I'm like, you got to do it all, but there's some like basic stuff in building you can do to make accessibility easy later. And so I always recommend that. And I haven't checked out the accessibility requirements in like a year. But I often use a contrast checker. The biggest issue I see on all these websites is contrast, where you have like a yellow image and white text over it. And then it's like, you can, if you're like super visually like able, you can see the text. It's weird, but you can see it. But then if you have any like deficiencies in like sites and shades and stuff, this white text on a yellow background isn't going to be visible. And that stuff is super easy to figure out your brand colors in advance. And then, choose a dark enough blue so that it works with a white, and choose a light enough blue so that it works with a black text. So you can do like a white text, black text situation, rather than having a blue that's like awkwardly in the middle. And then you have to like use certain colors of text that'll make it look bad. I don't know. There's a lot you can do for accessibility. You'll build your second accessible website much more efficiently than the first one, once you know all the things that you need to keep in mind.
Well, and to your point, Emily, when people are first getting started, they seem to be really, really focused on building the most visually intricate possible things on the planet. Like when you go into oh my god, Themify or one of these theme companies, and you look at what they're offering to people that are new to the space, right? It's going to be like jungle images with different shaded boxes and background shadows and all these things, and they go, oh, that looks so gorgeous, I got to put that on my website. And I guess you can kind of see where that comes from. Like you go, oh, that's really cool, but then you download the theme, half of what you saw in the sample doesn't even come with the theme, and then you end up building something that's like 4 different shades of green with overlayered boxes and animations, and the reality is that it's not intuitive to your users. It's not for anyone that's visually impaired. They struggle, and then you wonder why there's no conversion on your project, right? And it's time and time again. I think the longer that I stay in the space and the longer that I work with, especially corporate clients, I'm realizing like that simplicity in design is golden. Like I can't tell you how many people of an enterprise level have said to me, oh, you know, I need this to be really highly developed, highly designed, you know, like Apple or, you know, like Amazon. And then you go to those websites and you're like, there's nothing here. It's a white page with black writing and a picture at the bottom. Like, but that's the elegance of it. The elegance of it is its simplicity and its ability to communicate and convert. The problem is that these enterprise customers that say, you know, I want it simple and elegant like Apple, they're not recognizing that Apple's got a bazillion users already and the traffic's already there, right? So they're assuming that if they go with that simple design, they're going to have those same results. They're not going to have those same results. They still have to market and promote and do all the things to drag the traffic in. And that's where I think where a lot of people get lost. I would prefer people to make the simplest website possible, visually, make sure that it is sound functionally, and then develop it over time. Like I would like to see them launch, get traffic, you know, get some kind of traction on the project, and then if they want to go back and enhance the user experience or increase the visuals, I think that that's something you can do downstream.
Definitely. I think that having powerful visuals out of the box from a web design perspective, if you don't already have an established client base, is just an unnecessary use of time. You could have like a sky palette theme out of the box, no customizations, and just put some powerful graphics, maybe from Canva. If you want to get visually complicated, add visual complications to your images themselves, because then for accessibility, you can simply alt text the images. So if someone doesn't completely understand or see what's in the image, they can understand it that way. So people who do understand what's in the image, but they'll be able to get it from just looking.
Yeah. Now, Donna is being our little echo chamber today. She says a website that works is so much more important than a website that is perfect and beautiful. I would agree on that. Colleen has a question. Colleen says, I want to add mark complete and take quiz buttons. How can I add that to your courses? I can't seem to find how. My web designer installed that on my WordPress site. Well, Colleen, the good news is this: you only have to really learn one thing, not 3 things. The mark complete button and the quiz button and the assignment button are all the same button in LifterLMS. So it is a dynamic feature that is added. Think of Lifter as being like this giant dynamic platform. Like the course page is dynamically embedded into a template. My account page is dynamically embedded into a template. All these things are dynamically embedded. And the mark complete button, start quiz, and assignment button are all the same feature. They just behave differently based on who's signed in and the situation that they're in on the page. This would be a really great screen share opportunity for Emily to kind of show how to add that. The process might be different based on whatever page builder or theme you chose, but we can go over the basics here in the screen share. And then if you want to let us know what page builder or theme you're in, we might be able to be more specific. But remember, other people see our answers and watch the replays, so we kind of want to show it from a grassroots kind of position. Emily, are you cool if I go make a cup of coffee and come back?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so how can we add the Mark Complete button? Usually, this should automatically be on your lessons, but I've noticed lately that when building courses, sometimes it's not there. And so, if we jump into our course builder and edit one of our lessons, it's already here on these lessons, but let's imagine it's not. Delete that. Oftentimes, what's also missing, if you're missing the Mark Complete button, you're also probably missing the lesson navigation. These are 2 blocks that Lifter tries to add to your lessons automatically, but certain things could interfere with that process. So if we look at lesson navigation, that's going to be that left and right, back to course, next lesson kind of stuff. We'll put that at the bottom. And then lesson progression is what the Mark Complete button is. And like Kurt said, this button will automatically update if there's a quiz present on the lesson. So I think for lesson 1, I don't have a quiz. So I should see the words Mark Complete when I open this page. There it is. But if I were to add a quiz, create a quiz, publish the quiz, single question quiz, save the changes, and then read over here, now that a quiz is present, we should have the take quiz button. And we could talk about customizing the colors if you want to, but I always recommend that we create a reusable block with these two blocks that often disappear. It makes it a little bit more efficient if you're going to be populating these 2 blocks amongst multiple lessons. So if we put these in a group, no, not separately together. So now they're in a group together, and we can turn this little group into a pattern. So we'll create a pattern. This pattern is called my end of lesson pattern. And so it can be a synced pattern or a non-synced pattern. Basically, the 2 blocks of this end of lesson pattern are my Mark Complete and lesson navigation. We'll add that as a pattern. So now instead of adding both blocks in every single lesson, what we can do is either add it to our lesson template, or we can go into every one of our lessons, go to my patterns, and then drop in the end of lesson pattern, and we'll automatically get both of those blocks. So if you're going to go on a campaign of adding those to your lessons, it's a little bit faster to do it that way. Patterns are really awesome. A website that works is so much more important than a website that is perfect and beautiful. Totally agree. Totally agree. And it also doesn't have to be redesigned as much. A lot of people focus on redesigning their website once every 3 to 5 years. And so if you just stick to the core of your content, you'll notice that your need to redesign, the speed at which your website looks antiquated is so much slower. You're going to be able to get like 10 years out of a simple website, where a complicated website, you might only be able to get 2 or 3 years out of it before it starts to look old. Yeah. Accessibility by user way, create recommendation. Also deals with color blindness. Yeah, there's having those, I forgot what they're called, but they're like accessibility tooltip plugins. And if anyone wants to see a demo, we can show them. They put a little accessibility panel on the left or right hand side of the screen for the user to drag around. They can increase the font size, they can increase the contrast on your website, they can have some certain accessibility features to make the site customizable from the user perspective. And that's really awesome. Thank you for the screen share. Great tip of patterns. Thank you. I like the patterns thing, especially a synced pattern, because if you do decide to add maybe a marketing opportunity to the end of your lessons, instead of having to edit all 300 of the lessons that you'll eventually have, what you can do is simply edit the pattern. So if we edit the original pattern and we want to encourage users to book a coaching call, we can just put a button to book a coaching call with So if I were to save the synced pattern, now all of my lessons now have the option to book a coaching call. And that can be useful down the line if you want to standardize things a little bit to make future updates faster. Yeah. How's your coffee?
My coffee is amazing. I had a little bit of a headache, and so I wanted to take some ibuprofen and get a fresh coffee. And that machine I have that someone gave me is amazing. And nice little Ethiopian beans today. I'm feeling like such a snob lately with my food and drink and stuff. I started to someone asked me about the brisket I made yesterday, and I immediately went into, well, I did this one a little bit different. I layered the spices. It's got Himalayan salt and fresh cracked pepper and I'm like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. But the brisket, I didn't think it was going to be that good because it was a 12-pounder, and I'm used to cooking 17 or 18-pound briskets. And so I had to really be careful with the temperature and the time. And I thought that it was possibly going to be dried out. Emily. Not me. I was a little critical of it. My wife was like, oh, this is so good. She kept going back to the cutting board and snipping off more pieces of meat after dinner. I was like, dinner's done, babe. We got to have some leftovers. Stop eating all the meat. But it was yummy. It was really good.
Nice.
I saw that you and Chris had done, pardon me, a Feature Friday on the gift idea, the gift card.
Yeah.
It's not a gift card. I don't know. My pre-programmed brain keeps calling it the LifterLMS gift card, but it's not a gift card. What would you call it? The gift feature?
Yeah. It gives you the ability to gift a course or membership to somebody. So I would say it's like you're just gifting an entire membership or gifting an entire course. You're not really giving them a gift card, because a gift card is like you could get $50 worth of a gift card, but the course might be $100. Maybe you have a bunch of courses at different prices, and so the $50 gift card you got, maybe it could buy an entire mini course, or maybe it could contribute to part of a bigger course. You get flexibility with how you use a gift card, but with Lifter Gift, how it works is that you just buy a course on somebody else's behalf.
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool. I think it's long overdue. It's one of those it's like one of those really simple add-ons that just makes sense, and you wonder why it wasn't there before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see that. Now, what are you burning in the background?
It's an incense. I think it's I don't remember the scent, but it's a little incense. I made a duck to support. I crafted this little clay deck recently, and he holds the incense. So it's
there you go. Perfect. I did. So, I like to cook. So I made a homemade cheddar cheesy sauce. And I put this very well seasoned ground beef into the kind of cheesy sauce. But in the cheesy sauce, I did a little cayenne, a little clove, a little garlic, and then we added pasta to it, right? And so it ended up being like this, kind of like this cheesy mac. And it's just a simple American cheesy mac with ground beef dish. I give it to my daughter, who's 21, and she goes, oh, this is different. Where'd the cloves come from? Why'd you use cloves? And I thought to myself, I just like the way it smells. Like, I just want to add like a depth, you know what I mean? Like I wanted there to be a different aromatic to it than just, cheese sauce. But yeah, that's cool. Are you you're in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
That's your normal spot.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like anyone else has any questions. What do you want to talk about?
I'd be willing to do more screen shares. We could talk about sales and copywriting. We could talk about what else is there? We could talk about using patterns, specifically with LifterLMS. We could show the gifting feature if anyone's curious about the gifting feature. It's in the Infinity bundle. You can add it to your website so people can purchase courses or memberships on behalf of someone else. One thing I think is important to note with this version of gifts, as it was released today, and this will be updated in the near future, but if there's a recurring membership or a recurring payment to a course, so the membership may cost $20 a month, gifting the membership to someone, since you do create a separate access plan for the gifting, but you can't do it on a recurring basis. So if you have a $20 a month membership and you want someone to gift it, it's going to be a voucher code for them to enter, and the voucher code gets them into the course, but it won't kick them out, even if their payment expires, even if something happens. So we usually don't want to use recurring plans with gifts, because if I buy a recurring membership for Kurt at $20 a month and in 6 months I cancel it, Kurt's access won't end. It'll just keep going on forever. That system hasn't been built yet to notice that Kurt got enrolled from my access plan, which is no longer active. That logic isn't there yet. So for one-time purchases, gifts is super simple out of the box. But for recurring purchases, we got to keep in mind that they're not yet connected. Gary says gifting would be nice. Do you want to do a demo of that with me?
Yeah, that'd be fine. And then we only have like 15 minutes left, but if we have time, it might be worth talking about how Fluent Cart just added bundling as an ability through the cart.
Yeah. Gifts. So LifterLMS gifts. If you already have an Infinity bundle and you already have your license installed, you can go to LifterLMS add-ons and more and find this on the back end of your website to get it installed. And once that plugin is installed, there's nothing you have to do to set it up. It's just installed and active, and you're good to go. In the integration settings, LifterLMS Gifts is an option, but there's nothing under here. So all you have to do is turn the plugin on. And when you do that, what it gives you the opportunity to do is on any of your courses or memberships, when you're creating an access plan. I just created a new access plan super fast. There it is. So gift purchases is an option on here. And what the gift purchase does is that it has the setting on use for gifts turned on automatically. And so you can set the price. So maybe this is a one-time payment course of $100. But if it's a monthly payment, maybe we could do $500 one-time payment or $600 one-time payment. So if you pay for 6 months up front, you have lifetime access, basically. That would work. So for $600, you can buy the course for someone else for life. So buy lifetime access for a friend. Buy lifetime access for a friend. And so that's all we have to do. This is a great offer to promote. Oh, I didn't save this access plan. We'll get rid of that one. This is a great offer to promote at the end of your course. So if I were to publish my course.
Yeah, if you made it a hidden access plan and then embedded the payment link as your last lesson, that would be cool.
Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this, give it to your friends.
Give it to your friends. And you can even give them like a discount, but buy lifetime access for a friend. And what happens is when someone buys this access plan, because it was selected that this access plan is used for gifting, instead of enrollment into the course, which is a voucher will be created after checkout is complete. So let's buy now. We pay the $600 and here we go. We can see this is the voucher code. This is when I purchased just now, and the status is unused. So I'm going to send this to my friend, and they will be able to enroll in the course with that voucher code. The complicated thing about it is that you need to have open registration available, because voucher codes don't go through the traditional LifterLMS checkout. So if you're going to be using voucher codes, which is what the Gifts add-on currently relies on, and in the future that'll probably change. But for now, it relies on vouchers. And so what we need to be intentional about doing is creating a registration page or enabling registration on the dashboard. I prefer the registration page. So like redeem a gift membership. If someone bought you a course or a membership course, maybe just a course on your behalf, this is where you can redeem your voucher. You can redeem your voucher. And then we'll also, of course, add a pricing table. Pricing table isn't an option. View the available courses. Display. Available courses. So we'll market that at the same time. But specifically what we want to do is a short code or is registration. LifterLMS register is now a block. That's perfect. So it's a block or a short code.
Have a voucher?
Have a voucher. And that's where people will use the voucher. You can customize that registration form under LifterLMS forms. So you can like make the voucher required and maybe remove the address and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can move it up. It doesn't have to be at the bottom.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Do you want to do a demo of the Fluent Cart?
Well, I don't know if we need to have to do an actual, well, I guess we could. Let me open up my, I have a Fluent Cart site, demo site that I've been using. And I always hesitate, right? Because it's like, I'm not trying to be a rolling commercial for Fluent all the time. It's just I use their stuff. And so yesterday they announced a new addition to Fluent Cart that allowed you to bundle things together. And so I think it's important to recognize that if you're in LifterLMS, you can bundle things through memberships. So if you have 10 courses and you have 5 courses that are on management and 5 courses that are on being a great employee, you could bundle it. You could have, a manager membership and an employee membership and auto enroll managers into the 5 courses and auto enroll the employees into their 5 courses. Like you could totally do that. Where it gets interesting is why people need carts. So SureCart, Fluent Cart, WooCommerce, any of those, that's typically they're selling more than courses, right? So here's a fleece jacket, a baseball hat, a hoodie, a t-shirt, right? So there's all these other things that we sell, and we also sell courses. And so if we wanted to bundle things together with physical goods, we could do this, right? And so I could say, let's do this. Let's call this the AMA bundle, right? Ask Me Anything bundle, because that's what we're doing now. I'm going to leave it and say digital product, and I'm going to say add as a bundle. And I could say physical product, I guess, too, if I wanted to here. It doesn't really matter because we're going to bundle it with physical products. But if you activate the bundling with Fluent Cart Pro, you automatically have the ability to bundle things in your cart, and you don't have to rely on access plans to do that. LifterLMS gives you 6 access plans for each feature, right? So 6 access plans for courses, 6 access plans for memberships, and you have the freedom to mix and match a lot of things and build stuff. But when you use a cart, you basically have unlimited bundling abilities. So you're not limited to access plans because you're using the products directly and not the access plans. Whereas with WooCommerce, big difference. With WooCommerce, you're connecting to access plans. With Fluent Cart, you're connecting to products. That's something to understand the difference between the two. And so for a short description, that might be like blah, 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 right? So you're going to put that in. And then long description would be like, maybe it's a lorem ipsum giant paragraph. I like to just write that out, right? I can't even spell that right. Look at me. That would be like your long description, right? And then I'm going to pick media. So what do I want things to look like? And what am I going to bundle actually here, right? So let's say I'm going to put this here sweatshirt or this jacket in. I have a course image that I'm going to put in. I like this guy that's fishing, right? So I'm going to put that in. We said that there was going to be a hat. So let's put a hat in. What else do we want to put in? What else do we have to choose from? I'm just bundling things that pre-exist. A vacation to a pyramid with a rainbow. How about that? All right. So in our bundle, we could say here, it's like, we have a hoodie, course, hat, and a trip. whatever. All right. So we describe what that bundle is. And then what's cool is we come down to pricing. And so in pricing, is it simple or is it variable? So realistically, if I'm really selling hats and shirts and stuff, there's going to be variations. There's going to be sizes and colors and things to choose. But for the purpose of this screen share real quick, I'm just going to say simple and one-time purchase. I'm not going to use a subscription because unless I'm selling the hat of the month club or the t-shirt of the month club, that doesn't make sense. I'm going to leave it as a one-time purchase. And we're going to say that maybe it's $2,500. I don't know. Because we got a trip involved, right? We're going to go somewhere. So, and maybe normally it's $5,000. And so that kind of shows like hey, you're getting a deal, right? Now, if I know what my costs are, my cost of goods are, one of the things I like about Fluent Cart is I'm able to put in my cost for things and I'm able to track my profits and my margins directly on the page. So let's say that it was $1,400, right? That tells me right away, I'm going to make $1,100 per sale with a margin of 44%. The fulfillment type I'm going to say is physical because I'm actually going to ship stuff. And then I'm going to want to create a shipping class on how things get shipped. So let's say that I'm going to send it with UPS and it's going to be $14.95 in shipping for every order placed. I'm going to make that a fixed amount and I'm going to save that. Again, if you're running a real shopping cart with real products, you're probably going to have a more intricate shipping setup. But I'm just trying to make things easy for the screen share. Now, here's where the magic of bundling comes in. I can choose anything I want off of my drop-down list or float up list of any of the products I want to bundle here. And so we know that we have a course. We said something about a T-shirt. We said something about a hoodie. We said something about a hat. I don't have a product as a trip built yet, but if I had that product, I could just add that. And what you see is every product you add gets listed as part of your bundle. And then you just come up here to where it says status and you select publish and then you select update. Now, something to know about the cart is whatever item is at the top is the featured image. So if I want to just drag the featured image up, I can drag it up and change it. And then I'm going to select update. That is going to create the product. And if we go back to products, we'll see it listed here as the AMA bundle. If I want to see it, I click on the eyeball. And here's our pyramid with the, here's our trip to the pyramid with the rainbow. Here's our hoodie, our thing. This would be our long description down here, whatever we want to fill in. And if they want to buy it, they just slide on over to make a purchase. And this will open up for the ability to take money through Stripe or through whatever payment gateway you put up. So that's the be all end all of how bundling works. I'm kind of happy with it. I like that you can bundle other things than just courses together in your website and sell stuff.
Yeah.
The thing that I really like, and maybe I'm going above and beyond here with sharing things about Fluent, but Fluent Cart, I don't know what did you notice in that demonstration how quickly things moved?
Yeah, it looked pretty quick.
When you click on stuff in Fluent Cart, it just goes like, I just love that. I love that it's performant. I'm not sitting around waiting for a spinning icon to tell me my page is loading. Fluent Cart's pretty dang quick. I like the way it works. It's really lightweight and it doesn't slow your website down. We got a minute left, Emily. Where can people reach you?
You can reach me, you can see on screen at wpcourseguide.com. How about you, Kurt?
Personally, I'm available on LinkedIn, and we get a fair amount of people that actually come to LinkedIn to connect with me. So that's pretty cool. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Hit the actual connect option. If you just follow me, I'm not going to know you're there. I got a ton of followers there. Make the connection. And then if you want to have a meeting or a one-on-one or whatever, we can do that. And then Mañana No Más is my agency name. So anything that's Mañana No Más is me. So we can just connect there if it's for business. And I think that just about wraps up our day. I do want to reiterate that if you have seen anything that interests you or you're thinking you want to move up the scale from the free version of Lifter to a paid version of Lifter, take advantage of the 55% off coupon at lifterlms.com/AMA-gift, lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. If you were watching any of this and you thought, man, I would love to have all this kind of cool stuff, but I really just don't want to do it, right? Like, that's a real thing. There's a lot of people that want this stuff, but just don't want to do it. They don't want to be web experts. They want to run their business. If that's you, visit Experts. Go to lifterlms.com/experts, lifterlms.com/experts. LifterLMS vets a whole list of experts that they put on this page, and read the descriptions. Like mine's Mañana No Mas, Emily's is WP Course Guide. There's a ton of other great people in there, but read the descriptions and see who kind of finds an alignment with your project and reach out to hire somebody. You don't have to run the whole world yourself. You can get help and do stuff that way as well. And that does it, folks. We will see you next Thursday on the Ask Us Anything call.